Hey guys, welcome back to Powerful Stuff. I was debating what to do for today's powerful stuff after such a powerful episode with Eileen last week. And I decided to just, be real with you guys about what's been going on in my week and a practice that I continue to return to for myself that maybe it would resonate with you. So I'm doing this 21-day manifesting abundance challenge with Gabby Bernstein, who I love, because I thought it would get my New Year's off to an amazing start. I started doing it on January 1st in Flagstaff, which it honestly has. And I feel like those 21-day challenges like that, or Deepak Chopra's 21 Days of Abundance series, they always start to help you pay attention to more of what you want to call into your life. And the things that already are going well in your life and the things that you want more of, because I am a firm believer, as we're grateful for and pay attention to the things that already are going well in our life, it's a way of placing our order with the universe, so to speak, and saying like, yes, I want more of that. Hence the name my experience company with my co-founder, Eric, more of that. And so I was going through this abundance challenge this manifesting abundance challenge this week. And of course, a lot of things were going super well. But I also noticed that I kind of felt sad sometimes this week, and I'm about to start my period. So that's probably a part of it, and got into some miscommunication kerfuffles with my husband where we weren't seeing eye to eye, which of course we're, always wanting the best for each other. But when you're in the kerfuffle and it hasn't been resolved yet, it can feel like, really hard and disappointing when it's your partner and your second half and your thought leader, or not your thought leader, but you are each other's sounding boards. That's the word I was looking for. You are each other's sounding boards. And so it was a funny dichotomy for a moment this week where I found myself in this challenge and also working a lot with my own clients and in this 21-day manifestation challenge. And I felt like an internal disconnect. And I was like, I need to actually, these practices are great, but if I'm also not giving myself space to explore, and allow the sadness or the emotion that needs to be expressed, I'm kind of just like shoving it down deeper, which is the opposite of what I work with my clients on. I work with them on helping them vocalize their emotion. And, as Edith Eger says, heal it or feel it to heal it, vocalize it, acknowledge it, get it out of your system with some visceral expression or cry or whatever, and then move on to the next thing. So I realized, okay, this is a week where I need to put my money where my mouth is and do my exercise acceptance plus choice. And I'll explain that to you guys right now. So acceptance plus choice is this exercise that I came up with, but I'm sure have been like deeply influenced by all of my spiritual teachers throughout the years to get to it, where I believe that when we are denying reality or like the truths that are in reality, we kind of push them away or kind of lead to wishful thinking or missed expectations, or even hard on ourselves, right? Like I found myself this week being like, I'm doing this challenge. These things are going right. I had this other amazing thing happen. Like, why am I not feeling happy? And then it felt like it was becoming that internal helicopter voice of you should be happy. You should, and when the should bells go off, that's an alarm sign, or that's a sign that something needs to be released and realigned. So acceptance plus choice is a way of getting real with reality. And from this place of acceptance and allowance of reality, when we're not resisting it, but we're saying, okay, I invite you in, then from that place of acceptance, even if it's an uncomfortable truth, right? Then we are empowered to make a choice of where do I go from here? Or now that I've accepted and acknowledged it, what do I want to do next? And I believe that's one of the truest forms of empowerment, because we're not wishing or hoping for something to be a certain way. We're saying, okay, I'm taking it at face value. This is what it is right now. And where do I want to go from here? And so I did this practice with myself this week of, I accept that I am feeling kind of like up and down this week. I accept that I'm not feeling like my full self this week. I accept that I've had these kerfuffles with my husband this week, and that hasn't felt like super good. I accept that some good things have happened this week. I accept that I'm allowed to feel the good and the bad at the same time. The yes and, if you will. I accept that, some days I wish had started XYZ craft sooner. Some days I accept that some days I'm hard on myself for that. And so when I really made this whole list of acceptance, then it was just like this huge sigh of relief, just like, like got it all out, pen to paper, can look it straight in the eye and just be like, okay, this is the truth right now. And it might not be the truth forever, but it's what I feel right now. Then from that place of acceptance, I did, what is my choice? Where do I go from here? So, after each acceptance thing that I wrote, then I wrote the choice next to it. So like, I accept that, my husband and I got in these kerfuffles this week. My choice is that I can be curious about my behavior and how I could have remained more open to his viewpoint and how we can use this as a growth moment. My choice is to use this as a growth moment. My choice is to be like, wow, we're both so much like caring for the other that like this thing came up and it's coming from the best of place. And my choice is that we're going to learn to use this to communicate even better. And for like the acceptance of like the emotions, like not feeling 100%, even though these other good things were going on this week, I was like, okay, my choice is that I'm going to give myself space to like have that emotion. And then my choice is that I'm going to do this, or like, some of this stuff, especially with like, oh, would have, could have, should have started something sooner, or comparing ourselves to other people. It's like, my choice is that instead of comparing myself to that person, I'm going to use it as inspiration. My choice is that I'm going to see it as a sign for my subconscious that this thing is possible for me, or that these kind of inspiring people are in my orbit. So after I did the acceptance plus choice list, I started to feel more empowered from radically owning where I was in my week. And from that place of radically owning where I was in my week, I felt like then I had not only acknowledged like inner little Meredith and her feelings and how she was feeling, but I had also made a game plan for the tiny steps of what I was going to do next. So to take it back all to you guys, and I hope this has been insightful for you along the way, is, giving yourself the acceptance, the allowance, the acknowledgement of what is, like, what are you resisting in reality right now? Whether it's your emotion or like a hope of someone, whether it's a romantic partner or a friend being in a certain way, but their actions aren't aligning with your wishes. Is it accepting like you are where you are right now in your like trajectory, whether you thought you would be here or not, like giving full acceptance and permission to it, and writing it out until you get it to that full exhale of just like, I'm in complete alignment with, or like acceptance of this reality. And with that, like I kind of said before, it also allows space for the yes and, like, I can feel sad and I can also be happy about certain things this week. I can have had this kerfuffle with my husband and I can, still love him deeply and respect him deeply. And so with the acceptance and allowance, it's creating that space for the yes and. So then once you get to the choice, you kind of aren't operating from this place of black or white, right? It's either this or that. You're operating from a place of like, what would a new invitation or a new response look like? And so often we can go to a black or white response, right? Either this or that, because they're safe, they're predictable, they're within our control. And so that's why it's so powerful to do this acceptance exercise, because then we start to see the middle ground, a gray area, not black or white. Well, what if I did this? What if I allowed both things to be true at the same time and then had a choice that reflected that? And we start to pave the way for this new middle ground. And so that's what I've done for myself this week. And that's the meditation, the meditation that I want to lead for you all now, is an acceptance, and a choice meditation coupled with a little bit of yes and, because we love a good yes and. And I'm actually going to do a whole episode in the coming weeks on the life lessons I learned from improv, which will be heavily centered around yes and. But for now, let's find a comfortable seat. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Another deep breath in. Take a sip of air at the top. And open mouth, sigh it out. Third breath, we're really going to release any tension. So taking another breath in. Feeling it come up to touch the crown of your head, taking a deep breath at the top. And then one more HA. As your gaze is turned inward, start to call forth a situation in your life right now that you've maybe been resisting. Maybe you're not fully yet allowing yourself to see the truth of the full situation for what it is. Bringing that situation into your mind's eye and just noticing in your body where you feel that resistance or that tension. And then using your breath as a masseuse, bring your breath to that area of your body and start to breathe deep into that area. Expanding your lungs even more, pulling your breath even deeper from your pelvic floor. And as you start to breathe into this area of resistance, allowing it to soften. And as you allow it to soften, letting your inner child, your inner self know that they're safe as they fully accept and allow this situation. And as your inner child starts to feel the spaciousness of your breath and slowly starts to unclench, getting to see the situation unfold even more fully, asking your highest self to show you the situation for what it is. Noticing any hidden truths start to come up to the surface. Noticing where you've been wishing for something to be some way and just looking at it clearly, seeing it for what it is, whether it's a relationship or a person. Or an instance of you in your own life. And as you start to bring more acceptance to the situation, seeing the situation start to become more vibrant, more detailed, and saying internally to yourself, I accept and allow the fullness of this situation. I accept and allow the fullness of this situation. Now letting yourself start to feel that acceptance and allowance. Noticing if it's bringing up any emotion, maybe it's even anxiety or fear, and allowing yourself to breathe into it, imagining like it's a stream of smoke coming through your spine and up and out the crown of your head. Allowing yourself to feel it fully, allowing it fully to pass through you and up and out of you. And as it passes up and out of you, starting to breathe with this situation of full acceptance. Inhale, seeing the fullness of the situation. Exhale, coming into acceptance. Breathing in the yes. Exhaling the and. Breathing in the acceptance. Exhaling the choice. Breathing in the yes. Exhaling the and. Breathing in the acceptance. Exhaling the choice. And as you continue this breath and you remain in homeostasis with this scene in complete allowance, starting to see a vision of your highest self appear in this scene in front of you. Seeing your highest self centered, emanating a deep knowing that everything is happening for them and they are totally sovereign and empowered to make a choice. And then asking your highest self, what is the perfect next step? What is the perfect choice now that I am in complete acceptance and allowance of this reality? Trusting whatever they say, thanking them. And then breathing in another big breath of acceptance of this scene. Exhaling it out. Breathing in acknowledgement of yourself for being able to breathe with and through this. Acknowledging your courage as you exhale it out. And then breathing in and exhale, opening your eyes and coming back into this space. Wow, guys. I hope you're feeling super spacious and accepting of what is, and you feel relaxed in that acceptance. You feel trusting of yourself to move forward in knowingness and integrity. And just to sum it up, after this meditation, make your acceptance list. What is everything you accept about the situation, all the inconvenient truths and all the good truths, allowing them to coexist on the same page. And then looking at those acceptance statements, what is your new choice? What is the new choice you can make with total and 100% information to move forward? And this is so powerful because if you think about when we don't have all the information, right, we can't act. Like if you think about that in a game, if there's a blind spot, it's like, then you can't fully act. You can't fully make the most empowered choice. And so it's kind of like imagining this exercise, doing that right now, is removing the blind spots, bringing all necessary information forward so we can make the best possible choice and move forward from there with acceptance, with allowance, which also brings us into grace, which also brings us into integrity. I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know how the acceptance and choice exercise works for you. And I am so excited to see you next week. Keep sending in your ideas for powerful stuff, and I will see you soon for more powerful stuff. Thank you for listening to the Powerful Stuff podcast. We're your hosts, Meredith Baker
and Eileen Leguiu. We hope that you learned some powerful stuff that you can take away and implement into your own life.
And if you do, we would love it if you rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast, Powerful Stuff. And if something deeply resonates with you and you share it on social media, tag us. We would love to hear from you. And we will also see you next week for some more powerful stuff.